Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Welcome to Pep Rally. Let's see here. Let's make sure that we are in the right group here. I always kind of have a reoccurring nightmare that I'm going to go live in the wrong group. Can I do that? I actually had a nightmare last night that I went live in our Saint customer group. So somebody confirm that I'm in the artist group and not in the customer group before. Hello. Okay, Danielle's here, so I must be in the right group. I'm gonna wait probably just like 3 minutes before I go ahead and get started because we're going to have this left on here and it will be in the Team Jacob University. So there is no reason for us to wait for a while for a bunch of people to get on. We're just gonna dive right in. I'm in the right group. Woohoo! Last night I did have a nightmare that I went live in the wrong group. So there's that. Good morning. Welcome to Pep Rally, you beautiful babes. Good morning, good morning. People are popping in. Like I said, I'm only going to wait 3 minutes before I dive right in. Because it's Monday and we all have work to do, right? We've all got stuff we want to get at. So say hello to all your people as you get here. Okay, we're getting there. So for you guys that are here, this is Pep Rally. I think this might be our third one that we've done. And these are all going to be a little bit different, where we will have some nuggets of information to take away, and then also just some motivational little tips so that we can all be working as a group and be successful together. Hello, Natalie. How are you, girlfriend? I miss you. Hello, Crystal. Hello, Lena. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Like I said, 3 minutes, and I'm nothing but prompt if that might be the case. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started and start sharing some story with you guys, some information. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. So I am talking today about mindset and the development of mindset. We are in the season right now of where we, as a business, as a company, are working towards qualification for what is our rewards trip. Hi, Amanda, welcome. And I have a story that I want to be able to maybe share with you guys a little bit and help you in development around this season of working towards this rewards trip, and kind of maybe share another side of it and a personal story to me that I think might be helpful to some of you. Maybe you're going through the same situation. So if you know me, I will preface this with, I'm terrible with numbers, and something that could have happened 3 years ago to me, I think happened last week. So my time frame and numbers are never really great. But that said, that's just how my brain works. So 2 years ago, well, somewhat, probably about 2 years ago, I made some pivotal changes and pivoted in the way that I wanted to run my business and the way that I wanted to educate and grow my social media channels. And because of those changes, I think that I kind of got in this rabbit hole of getting down on myself and really feeling like I maybe made mistakes in the way that I wanted to do stuff, the way that I wanted to kind of change my business. And I spent a lot of time, I'm a 3. I know we talk about Enneagrams on here a lot as far as our company. It's kind of a big part of who we are. And I'm a 3. So if you know anything about a 3, we can be a little bit annoying. A lot bit annoying, but I promise you, I'm my own worst enemy. So there's nothing anybody else could think about me that I don't think worse of myself. So let's just put that out there. But as a 3, I like attention. I like to be seen a lot, something that I'm working on, and it's something that's always going to be a challenge for me because I am a 3, but that's just who I am. And during this time period of making changes in my business and in the way that I wanted to educate and run my social media channels, oh, I see some fellow 3s. Girl, I got you. I got you. I see you. I think that it became very heavy and very daunting for me to kind of carry because I couldn't quite align myself to where I was really happy with what I wanted to teach and what I wanted to educate. And I kind of kept getting distracted, almost like a dog with a squirrel. It would be like, look over here, a squirrel. And like, I kind of would get to where I had a hard time being really solid in what I wanted to do. You annoyed me right into this company. God bless you, Michelle. I'm really sorry. Oh, I can't wait to watch this. Okay, that's fine, Jen. It's going to be on here. Come back. It's not going anywhere. I will try to read your questions, but then again, I'll get distracted. So I'll try to come back. In my story then, where I was kind of I didn't have my eyes on my own paper. And I really felt like I knew how I wanted to educate and I knew what I wanted to be putting onto my channels, but I would become so overwhelmed by watching other women, and not just talking saint artists, but watching other creators and other women achieve the thing that I thought was my thing, achieve what I thought I wanted to have. And my jealousy level was probably a 10, and that's not a good thing. When we are so consumed with other people, we are so jealous of what we might think that they have or what we're trying to achieve. It's not serving us. It's not getting us into the right mindset and the right development into where we need to be. There's ways to be inspired by people, and then there's ways to be just weighed down with jealousy. And most of the time, that's what it is. It's not being taken as inspirational. It's just like weights, like leaded feet, and it's really holding you in place. And that's where I was about 2 years ago in the business, to the point that a few people know this, but not a ton of people, but to the point that I was like quite literally ready to quit, quite literally ready to walk away from what I had built with Saint from day one, because I joined on day one, that I was ready to just be like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if the way that I'm building in this business and what I'm putting on my channels is what I want to do. And I really was ready to walk away. And what happened for me during that time was a couple of things. It came to be about the point of the season again, where we are right now in qualifications for our rewards trip. I kind of came up onto this part of the business. Again, I was into this season where we would be getting ready to qualify again. But I had also made some pivotal changes in my business, and I had made changes in the way that I wanted to educate. And while I loved what I was doing, my heart and my mind weren't aligned in the way that I wanted to teach. In my heart, I knew how I wanted to educate. And in my mind, I wanted that trip. I wanted to be on the trip. And I wanted to be seen, and I wanted to be recognized and acknowledged. And I wanted everybody to be like, you're so amazing, and what you're teaching is the best. And that wasn't happening. And with that qualification period season being what we were doing with Saint, I had to make a choice. And I had to either continue on with what I was doing, or I had to kind of change and kind of go back to maybe ways that weren't quite aligned with me in what I wanted to be putting out onto my channels. And so a wise friend of mine a long time ago said to me, Rachel, if she's on here, I don't know. But Rachel said to me in a chat that we had years ago with the business, that I had to put pen to paper and decide what I wanted to do, not business, but with my team. That I had to put pen to paper in the way that I wanted to build my team, and I wanted to work with women as far as like what I was willing to do and what I was unwilling to do. And that really was a great concept for me. Probably because I can get so distracted in other ways, but it was great for me at that time to really hone in on working with women and what I wanted to provide as a leader, and being very solid in that. So I took that same concept, I took that same thought, and I put it, and I thought, well, I mean, if that worked for me with team, and that now I don't feel as stressed out, and I don't feel as, like failing, because, you know, she talked about that the other day, where we talked about being the kind of mentor that we want to be, and giving each other the room and the space for us to be different in that, and being okay with that. And that worked in that situation. So I thought, well, why isn't that going to work for my business? Like, why won't that be the same? So I had to put down pen to paper what I wanted to do for my channel and what I was unwilling to do. So where I was willing to grow and where I was unwilling to grow, and waver from what I was willing to teach and what I was unwilling to teach. And being able to put that pen to paper is a really strong concept for me. And it gives me a very balanced way of working in my business. So when I was able to put that to pen to paper, it was about the same time as being in the season again of qualifying. And I kind of had to let the concept go of wanting to be on that trip for the idea of knowing what the bigger picture was for me. And if the trip worked out, it worked out. And if it didn't, it didn't, right? And I moved forward in the way that I wanted to grow and to align what was in my heart and what was in my head to being the right type of mental development or mindset development that I was going to need to really endure for this type of business. Like, I think that there's a lot of ebbs and flows. We've probably all been through them. And if haven't been through them yet, you will. I think that's just part of it. It's kind of like marriage. Marriage is hard. There's a lot of ebbs and flows in that too. And being this, I mean, I'm not comparing this to marriage, but you know, it's the ebbs and flows and it's all hard. So newsflash, I don't want to like burst anyone's bubble, but newsflash, I didn't actually make it on that trip. So circling back to that time period and that pivot in my business, I didn't actually make it. And while that was hard, I did know that I knew within my heart and my mind, because I had aligned them in my mental, like my mindset, that what I was doing, I knew was going to be bigger than actually qualifying for this trip. So even though at the time it was difficult, and there was a lot of like days that I did feel like I failed, and I did feel like I wasn't the kind of artist that I thought that there needed to be, or that I thought that I needed to be. I did know that I was on the right trajectory. I think I said that right, for how I wanted to grow my business and for how I wanted to land. And that was kind of a crazy time because that period for qualifying for that trip, this is the only time that this has ever happened. And I don't know if it will ever happen again or not, but they did open up an extra month that they were going to give towards this qualifying time. And I remember the day, I remember the day that they announced that. And I talked to Rachel, and she had said to me, she's like, well, are you going to go for it then? And I remember feeling so at peace with my decision as far as what I was doing for my business and my channel, that I was able to say right away, no, I'm not going to put myself back into that hamster wheel of feeling like I was trying to claw my way to qualifying for something, because I had already made peace with it. I had already made my mindset so tunnel focused on the type of content and the type of education that I was going to create, that it didn't hurt. It didn't make me feel all upset again, but stronger in being able to say no, I had created that mental development that I was able to say, no, I'm not getting back into that circle right now. I'm not ready. This is a growth year for me. This is a growth season for me. And what I'm going to be doing is going to be better in the long run. And having that grit to get back in there. Now, I'm not going to say that there weren't times that there were negative voices or opinions that I heard or got thrown around at me about there's always going to be haters out there. There's always going to be people that don't like what you're doing or think you should be doing it this way, or they're just going to put their opinion in there, or you're going to take what isn't even their opinion and put it on yourself thinking that that's what they're saying. But the truth of the matter is people think less about you than you think that they're thinking. They're always so consumed with themselves. Everybody's a little bit of a 3. I know. Even if you're a 2, 6, 9, 1, everybody's a little bit of a 3, that we're so consumed with ourselves that we're actually not thinking about you at all. We're all thinking about ourselves. And we do spend too much time thinking that everybody else is thinking about us. So I love all this. Okay. Thanks, Jess. So, okay. But my point to this story is that if you are in this season of growth in your development right now and you're powerhousing towards earning this rewards trip, I applaud you and I want you to do that. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I want you to achieve that. I want that to happen. And like Rachel said, no matter where you fall in this qualification period and you went after it, know that you did, and celebrate that in some way or another. No matter what that might be, you have to find some way to celebrate the work that you're doing, because it makes a huge difference. Even though I didn't qualify for that trip during that time period, I celebrated the growth and the alignment that I created with what I wanted to do in other ways. And I took that time with those little milestones that happened along the way, where it was 1 month I started to notice a higher follower count, and I gained through I noticed more video views or more color matches. Whatever that was, I did take the time in order to celebrate those things along the way. And that's really what's going to change your mindset and your development, is being able to take the time to celebrate the little things that happen. No matter how small you may think that they are then, they're big, and they are all going to add up into doing something more with the growth in what you're doing. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. You're so sweet. So with that said, I have attached a podcast that I put it in the notes up here, and can I comment on this on my own video? I don't know if I can comment when I'm on here. I don't think I can. But I attached a podcast to the notes of this, and if not, I'll put it in the comments when I'm off of here. This podcast came out a couple of weeks ago, and I've shared it with people on my channel, and I'm going to share it again. This was such an amazing podcast to listen to, and it really, really hit home for me because of the season that we're in right now. I was looking back at where I was 2 years ago and where I am today. And even though I'm not anywhere near where I want to be today, and I'm not anywhere near the goals that I have set, I have drastically changed from that woman that I was 2 years ago to who I am now. And I know that in my education, and I know that in what I want to provide to the people who are so kind enough to trust me and follow my channel and follow my content. So I know that it's huge. And I know I have a lot that I want to do, and we're all going to continue to do that. But the small things do add up to the big things in time. So anyways, this podcast was just like mind blowing to me to listen to. I probably listened to it 3 or 4 times now. They are much more articulate and well spoken than I am. My here is probably mumbo jumbo, and hopefully my train of thought was followed through and you got something out of it. But yes, I want you guys to listen to that podcast because I think that you will take a lot out of this little nugget, in being able to realize, like, we don't need to sit around and have somebody tell us that we are teaching the right way, or we're doing the thing the right way, or what we're doing is good. You are in charge of anointing your own self. You are in charge of being able to say, what I'm doing is good enough. The content that I'm creating is good enough, and who I am is good enough. And there isn't anybody that's going to be coming down to do that for you. So don't sit around and wait for it. Take it and run with that. And I promise you, it will change the way that you develop in your business and the way that you develop on your channel. You are so welcome, Snow. You are level 7. That's remarkable and hard to hit. Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm probably like the oldest French fry in the pack. I'm the French fry that fell between your seats in the car as a 7, who's been at a 7 for a really long time. But I have plans. And it was probably a lot easier to hit 7 back in the day when I got it. So it's not that remarkable. But I appreciate the sentiment as a 3. Okay. So take the time this morning to just turn that podcast on while you're getting ready, or you're just doing whatever this morning, and take my story of development and perseverance when you are listening to that, and look at the ways in your life that you're waiting for somebody to come along and tell you that what you're doing is good enough. And you're waiting for somebody to recognize you when you don't need anybody to recognize you but you. And that's the most important part for you in the development of this business. So I'm glad you got something out of this, Amanda. I feel like I was a little bit, I put some notes down to try to like stay in line, and I didn't do well at all. So, okay. Like I said, I wanted to come on here and just have this be like short and sweet, and give you a really valuable nugget to take away and listen. So if you didn't quite get anything out of my message, please listen to the message of these 2 women and their voices and their way of talking, which is much more articulate than mine. And anoint your own selves. Like, you guys don't need any of us to tell you that you're good enough or that what you're doing is good enough. So run with it. I'll listen to the podcast today. All right. Okay, you guys, have a happy Monday, and we are your biggest cheerleaders. So rah, rah, get to work. Love you. Bye.